first of the Philippine Navy's 2 missile-armed frigates will be as part of the AFP Modernization program.
The newly commissioned BRP Miguel Malvar of the Philippine Navy successfully completes its first official mission in the West Philippine Sea.
In 2025, the Philippine Navy is no longer just a coastal force. It's silently evolving into a regional player. The Philippines, in the past few years, have started ramping up Navy vessel and ship acquisition in order to counter China's growing aggression in the South China Sea. This move aims to secure their own backyard, the West Philippine Sea, in which China claims as its own via the so-called 9-dash line. In this video, we will discuss how the Philippines aims to project a strong deterrent in its waters, what recent modern naval ship acquisitions have been made, and what steps are being taken for interoperability with its allies in the region. Let's meet the country's most capable frontline ships, designed not just to patrol, but to deter. For decades, the Philippine Navy focused mostly on internal security, counterinsurgency, patrols, and coastal surveillance. Think less seafaring fleet, more community watch role. In that time period, the Philippines still understood that they are an emerging power with a very limited naval power confined to coastal waters. Then geopolitics changed the game. Philippine military strategists are very aware of the changing dynamics in the South China Sea, particularly China's growing naval strength and capabilities. As China ramped up its presence, building artificial militarized islands, aggressive Coast Guard patrols, and maritime militia vessels harassing Filipino fishermen, the Philippines had a decision to make: turn a blind eye and stay outdated, or level up. They chose the latter.
When, after 48 years of American sovereignty, the men and women of the Philippines received their independence.
The Philippines gained independence from the United States in 1946, but its Navy remained closely tied to American ships for decades. Well into the late 20th century, the country relied on pre-World War II and post-war vessels transferred from the U.S. Navy. For example, the BRP Iloilo began life as USS PCE 897 in 1945 and was handed over in 1948, serving nearly 7 decades under the Philippine flag. In 1967, the BRP Datu Kalantiao, originally the USS Booth, became part of the fleet under the U.S. Military Assistance Program. The BRP Gregorio del Pilar, Ramon Alcaraz, and Andres Bonifacio were once U.S. Coast Guard cutters from the 1960s. They joined the Philippine Navy between 2011 and 2016 under the Excess Defense Acquisition transfers. That meant our Navy was still afloat thanks to ships built for another country's Coast Guard or even World War II-era escorts, not exactly cutting edge by today's standards. But in 2020, that began to change. We'll dive into how new vessels redefined what the Philippine Navy can do, starting with the country's first purpose-built modern frigates. Coming next, 10 years of assets, tech, and decks that turned a sleepy Navy into a deterrent force. Is it enough? Stick around. Meet the Jose Rizal class of frigates, BRP Jose Rizal and BRP Antonio Luna, named after 2 of the Philippines' greatest national heroes. Rizal wielded words like a weapon, exposing tyranny with ink and courage. Luna, on the other hand, led with steel and fire, one of the fiercest generals the country ever produced. Today, their names sail the high seas, not as symbols of the past, but as warnings for those who challenge Philippine sovereignty.
Today marks another milestone for the Philippine Navy, the arrival of the BRP Antonio Luna. This is the second missile-capable warship in the Navy's inventory.
These stealthy multi-role frigates were built by Hyundai Heavy Industries in South Korea and commissioned into service in 2020 and 2021. Equipped with advanced sensors, anti-air and anti-ship missiles, and electronic warfare systems, the Jose Rizal class marks the Philippine Navy's bold leap into the 21st century battlefield. These frigates aren't just floating tributes to national heroes, they also pack serious heat. Each Rizal-class frigate comes with space for an 8-cell vertical launch system, ready to fire surface-to-air missiles once installed. Up front, you've got a 76mm Otto Melara super rapid gun, perfect for naval surface targets and shore bombardments. Backing it up, a 30mm secondary gun system for close-in defense because nobody likes unwanted visitors. Now let's talk reach. These ships carry South Korea's Lignex-1 Sea Star anti-ship missiles, sea-skimming, radar-guided, and built to punch through enemy hulls. Underneath are lightweight torpedoes for subsurface threats, because what's a good frigate without some bite below? For air threats, the ships are equipped with V-Shorad systems, very short-range air defense. Not top-tier yet, but enough to bring down drones and low-flying aerial threats. Both ships are helicopter-ready. Each frigate comes with a full hangar and flight deck for a naval chopper, boosting its reach for reconnaissance, ASW, anti-submarine warfare, or even humanitarian missions. Before the sleek silhouettes of modern frigates, the Philippine Navy sailed in something a little more vintage. These were the Hamilton-class cutters, retired U.S. Coast Guard ships handed over and recommissioned as the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, BRP Ramon Alcaraz, and BRP Andres Bonifacio. Big, sturdy, and built like Cold War tanks. Not exactly cutting edge prior to their transfer, though. All ships received armament, radar, and patrol range upgrades. This is the BRP Conrado Yap, 1,200 tons of serious Korean steel. A former Pohang-class corvette from South Korea, gifted to the Philippine Navy. It packs an Otto Malara 76mm main gun up front, perfect for surface threats. A 40mm secondary gun sits midship for extra bite. And underneath, 2 triple torpedo launchers and depth charge racks, built for anti-submarine warfare. This ship was designed to hunt in the shallows. For the first time in years, the Navy had a platform purpose-built to train against underwater threats. It wasn't flashy, but it was fast, reliable, and most importantly, ours. If the Conrado Yap was the Navy's entry into sub-hunting, the next step is speed and teeth. This is the Acero-class fast attack interdiction craft. Small, fast, and armed to the teeth. These are based on Israel's Shaldog Mekav design, built in partnership with Elbit Systems. Each Acero is equipped with Spike NLOS missiles, long-range, precision-guided, and deadly accurate up to 25 kilometers out. That's more than enough to keep any intruder nervous. A 30mm autocannon handles surface threats with secondary 12.7mm machine guns for close-in defense. Top speed? Over 40 knots. These things are built to sprint, strike, and vanish before the enemy even knows what hit them. 8 were ordered. 2 are already in active duty. Now meet the crown jewel of the fleet, the Miguel Malvar class frigates. Named after a Filipino revolutionary general and built in South Korea by Hyundai Heavy Industries, the lead vessel, BRP Miguel Malvar, FFG 06, was launched in June 2024 and commissioned in May 2025. At 118 meters long and displacing 3,200 tons, this ship can sail 4,500 nautical miles at 15 knots, with a top speed above 25 knots. Designed to be the main weapons platform for the Navy, it is armed with a 76mm Otto Malara main gun, a 35mm Aselsan Gukdenez CIWS, 2 quad launchers loaded with Lignex-1 Sea Star anti-ship missiles, 16-cell vertical launch system, fitted with MBDA's VL Maise surface-to-air missiles. 2 triple torpedo tubes armed with K745 Blue Shark anti-sub torpedoes and 4 12.7mm heavy machine guns on deck. Stealthy, heavily armed, and finally, something the Philippine Navy can send to the front of the line. A sister ship is already on track. The BRP Diego Silang, named after another revolutionary icon, slid off the keel on March 27, 2025. Hyundai Heavy Industries is set to deliver her by late 2025, with commissioning targeted in early 2026. That will bring the Miguel Malvar class to full strength, 2 modern frigates ready for duty. With the Miguel Malvar class taking center stage and her sister ship Diego Silang expected to join the fleet by early 2026, the Philippine Navy isn't just modernizing, it's gearing up for something bigger. But warships alone won't secure a maritime nation. Here's a full list of assets to come. Top of the list, submarines. And not just as a wish list item. For the first time in its history, the Philippine Navy is looking to operate beneath the surface. That's a massive leap in capability, from a purely surface fleet to full underwater deterrence. 2 major contenders are surfacing. France's tried and tested Scorpion class and South Korea's larger, more advanced Dosan On Chang-ho class. Both offer stealth, long endurance, and serious firepower, but each comes with different price tags, logistics demands, and training pipelines. Whichever sub gets the final nod, it marks a turning point. From plane catching up to reshaping naval strategy in the South China Sea and giving the Philippines enough teeth to deter aggressive actions by China. Submarines are just one part of the picture. The Navy's future lineup includes 6 brand-new offshore patrol vessels, more missile-armed Acero-class fast attack boats, additional amphibious landing ships, anti-submarine helicopters, and new maritime surveillance aircraft. More eyes, more firepower, more reach, significant deterrence. The Navy's arsenal is filling up fast. So where does the Philippine Navy sail from here? In the next few years, expect the Philippine military to shift from just catching up to actually building forward. The Navy's new warships aren't isolated upgrades. They're part of a bigger puzzle. The Philippine Air Force is bringing in a new batch of the latest FA-50s and eyeing new multi-role fighters. The Army's rolling out Israeli-made Sabra light tanks, new artillery systems, and modern communication networks. This is about connecting the dots into a truly interoperable force. But here's the catch. Modern war machines don't come cheap. To fund this pivot, the Philippines is doubling down on economic reforms. It's courting foreign investment, improving tax systems, and strengthening maritime trade routes. Because at the end of the day, guns need gold, and a strong military means nothing without a stable economy to fuel it. But if this modernization drive holds course, the Philippines might just be able to turn its archipelago geography into an advantage, turning choke points into fortresses, coastlines into early warning networks, and allies into force multipliers. It's not just about countering China. It's about making sure that when the next crisis hits, whether from the sea, sky, or cyberspace, the Philippines isn't just reacting, it's ready. So what do you think? Are these moves enough to protect the nation, or are more drastic steps needed to secure the archipelago in a rising age of maritime tension? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, share the video, and don't forget to subscribe.